Welcome to the Daily Stoic Reflections, where we dive deep into the wisdom of Stoic philosophy to help you transform your life and relationships. Today, we'll be exploring 10 powerful Stoic principles that can not only help you attract but also maintain genuine, meaningful relationships. This video is packed with insights that will guide you towards personal growth and the emotional stability that makes you more appealing to others. Make sure you watch until the end to absorb every valuable lesson, because these principles could change the way you connect with the people around you. Don't forget to like, comment "I deserve" below, and subscribe to join our community of lifelong learners. Cultivate inner peace. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by asking you this: have you ever felt overwhelmed by your emotions, reacting impulsively to situations, or allowing external circumstances to dictate your mood? If you have, you're not alone. It's part of being human. But here's where Stoicism offers us an incredible lesson. Stoicism teaches that true peace comes from within, and it's something we can all cultivate. Think about the times when life throws challenges your way. Perhaps it's a tough conversation at work, a disagreement with a loved one, or even a setback that feels like a roadblock. In these moments, many of us are quick to react. Our emotions take control, and we might say or do things we later regret. But here's where the Stoics show us a better way. The Stoic philosophy encourages us to take a step back and control how we respond to these external events. It's not the event itself that disturbs us, but how we choose to react to it. By practicing mindfulness and self-discipline, we learn that we can maintain our inner peace, no matter what's happening around us. This inner peace doesn't mean being emotionless or detached. It means being able to control your responses and not letting life's challenges throw you off balance. Take, for example, Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers. As the Emperor of Rome, he faced countless challenges, from political turmoil to personal loss. Yet, in his private journal, he often wrote about the importance of maintaining inner peace, no matter how chaotic the world around him became. He knew that his power didn't come from controlling the world but from controlling himself. This is what made him such an effective leader and a figure who remains admired to this day. Now, let's make this more relatable. Imagine you're having a difficult conversation with a friend or partner. Their words might sting, and your first instinct might be to snap back or withdraw. But if you've cultivated inner peace, you'll be able to pause, take a deep breath, and respond thoughtfully, rather than react impulsively. This ability to respond calmly and with clarity makes you not only more stable but incredibly attractive to others. People are drawn to those who can remain calm under pressure, who can offer thoughtful responses instead of knee-jerk reactions. It's a magnetic quality that fosters trust and respect. Inner peace isn't something that happens overnight. It takes practice. And the first step? Recognizing that your emotions are within your control. When you become more aware of your reactions and start taking responsibility for them, you begin to create a foundation of peace within yourself. The more you practice this, the more you'll find yourself navigating life's challenges with grace, composure, and strength. So, I ask you today, how will you respond to life's challenges going forward? Will you allow your emotions to dictate your actions, or will you choose to cultivate inner peace and remain in control? Remember, true power lies in our ability to master ourselves, not the world around us. This is the Stoic path. And by walking it, you'll not only become a more peaceful person, but you'll also become someone others are drawn to, someone who radiates stability, strength, and, above all, peace. Focus on self-improvement. Let me ask you a question: when was the last time you looked at yourself not with judgment, but with a true sense of introspection and a desire to improve? It's easy to look at external factors when things go wrong, but Stoicism teaches us that the most significant influence on our lives is not the world outside of us, it's the person we are within. Self-improvement is a journey, not a destination. It's a lifelong commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. Stoics believed that we should always strive to improve ourselves in order to live a virtuous life. But what does that look like in practice? What are the concrete steps we can take to build ourselves into people who are not only more attractive but also more approachable and compassionate? First, let's talk about introspection. This is the cornerstone of self-improvement. The Stoics, particularly philosophers like Epictetus, emphasized the power of self-reflection. They didn't just focus on their actions, they focused on their thoughts and the underlying beliefs that shaped those actions. When you engage in regular introspection, you begin to understand your motivations, your weaknesses, and your strengths. This understanding creates an opportunity to course correct and make deliberate improvements, day by day. Imagine waking up every morning with the intention of being better than you were yesterday. It might be something small, perhaps you'll listen more attentively in a conversation, or maybe you'll take an extra moment to show kindness to a colleague. The important thing is that you're consistently striving to be a better version of yourself. This, in turn, makes you more approachable, because people are drawn to those who are continually growing, evolving, and showing a genuine interest in improving themselves. But self-improvement doesn't just happen within the walls of your own mind. It requires action in the real world, specifically, in the development of soft skills. Communication and empathy are two of the most powerful tools we can use to improve our relationships with others. Take communication, for instance. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. It's about being clear, being honest, and being respectful of others' perspectives. We've all experienced those moments when words get lost in translation, or when someone's tone or body language makes us feel dismissed or misunderstood. When you work on improving your communication skills, you become someone who others can trust to listen and respond with clarity. People appreciate those who can express themselves well without causing confusion or tension. Now, let's talk about empathy. Empathy is the ability to truly understand and share in another person's feelings. It's not about fixing their problems, but about being present with them, feeling what they feel, and acknowledging their emotions. Empathy is one of the most attractive traits a person can possess. Think about it, when someone truly listens to you, when they make you feel heard and understood, how does that make you feel? You likely feel valued and respected, which is a powerful foundation for any relationship. Developing empathy is about seeing the world through another person's eyes, and that requires a deep sense of humility. It's about stepping outside of your own experience and recognizing that everyone has their own struggles and victories. When you practice empathy, you open the door to deeper, more meaningful connections, because you are no longer just communicating with someone, you're understanding them. Self-improvement is a lifelong journey, and as you develop your communication and empathy skills, you'll begin to notice a change in how people respond to you. You'll become more approachable, more authentic, and more attractive, not because of what you have externally, but because of who you are on the inside. Remember, the Stoics believed that we are responsible for the person we become. It's not about waiting for the world to change, it's about changing ourselves. As you continuously improve, you become a better version of yourself, and in doing so, you attract people who value the same virtues. So, I challenge you, what steps can you take today to start improving yourself? How will you develop your communication skills? How will you practice empathy in your everyday interactions? Remember, every small effort adds up, and by focusing on self-improvement, you'll become the kind of person who attracts not just opportunities, but also lasting, meaningful relationships. Live in the present moment. Let me take you on a journey, one that is happening right now, in this very moment. It's easy to get caught up in the past or worry about the future. We all have moments where we ruminate on mistakes we made or stress about what's to come. But here's the Stoic truth: the only moment that truly matters is the present. Stoicism teaches us that the past is gone, and the future is uncertain. The only thing we can control is this very moment, the here and now. When you learn to focus on the present, not only do you reduce unnecessary stress, but you also unlock a greater sense of happiness and confidence. This isn't just philosophical mumbo-jumbo. This is practical wisdom that can profoundly affect your life. Think about it. How often do you find yourself consumed by thoughts of past mistakes? Or perhaps you worry about the future, thinking about the what-ifs and potential outcomes. When you dwell in the past or constantly anticipate the future, you're robbing yourself of the peace and joy that can only exist right here, right now. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, often reminded themselves of the fleeting nature of time. He knew that the present moment was the only one that truly mattered. And when you focus on the present, you're not only bringing your full attention to what's in front of you, but you're also allowing yourself to be fully engaged with life, free from the distractions of what has already happened or what might happen. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're in a conversation with someone you care about, your partner, a close friend, or a colleague. If your mind is preoccupied with past events or anxieties about the future, you're not truly listening to the person in front of you. You're not giving them your full attention, and the connection starts to fade. But when you focus entirely on the present moment, when you listen intently and respond thoughtfully, the connection becomes richer and deeper. People are drawn to those who are present and genuinely engaged. This is one of the most attractive qualities you can develop. When you're fully present, you project confidence. You become more self-assured, because you are not trapped in the cycle of stress and worry. You know that you have control over how you experience life right now, and that realization brings peace. And let me tell you, that peace is magnetic. It draws people in because it makes them feel heard, understood, and valued. Here's another powerful benefit of living in the present moment: it increases your happiness. Have you ever noticed that the happiest moments in life are the ones when you're completely absorbed in an experience, without any distractions? Think of the last time you felt true joy. Perhaps it was a quiet moment with a loved one, a beautiful day spent outdoors, or even a simple activity you truly enjoyed. In those moments, you weren't thinking about your to-do list or the future. You were simply enjoying the now. Stoicism teaches us that happiness doesn't come from external things, it comes from our internal attitude toward life. And by living in the present, we create the mental space for true happiness to flourish. We stop chasing after things outside of ourselves and instead cultivate gratitude for what is right in front of us. This shift in perspective is life-changing. It's a simple yet profound way to increase your happiness every single day. Living in the present moment is also a powerful antidote to stress. We live in a world where it's all too easy to get caught up in the hustle, rushing from one task to the next, always looking ahead. But when you bring your attention back to the present, you begin to realize that most of the stress we feel is self-inflicted. We worry about things that haven't happened yet or hold on to past disappointments. By practicing presence, you release the grip that these worries have on you, and you regain control over your peace of mind. So, how can you live more in the present moment? It starts with awareness. When you catch yourself drifting into the past or future, gently bring your focus back to the here and now. Pay attention to your surroundings, to your breath, to the people around you. Engage fully in each experience as it comes. With practice, living in the present becomes a habit, and with that habit, you will begin to experience life more fully, with greater peace, happiness, and confidence. And here's the thing: when you live in the present, others will take notice. You will become a more confident, grounded person, someone who radiates calm and attracts others naturally. People will appreciate your ability to be present with them, to give them your full attention, and to share in the joy of the moment. So, I ask you today, are you willing to let go of the past and future in order to embrace the present? Are you ready to experience life with greater peace, happiness, and connection? The present moment is all we truly have. Let's make the most of it. Communicate with compassion. Imagine this: you're in a conversation with someone, perhaps a friend, a colleague, or a loved one. As they speak, you can feel the weight of their words, the emotions behind them. But are you truly listening, or are you just waiting for your turn to speak? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to rush through conversations, distracted by our own thoughts and concerns. But here's the Stoic insight: true communication happens when we listen with compassion and empathy. Stoicism teaches us the importance of understanding others, and communication is at the heart of that understanding. When we listen with compassion, we're not just hearing the words, they're being absorbed by our minds and hearts, creating a deeper connection. Empathy isn't about offering solutions or quick fixes. It's about simply being present with someone, understanding their emotions, and validating their experience. This, my friends, is the key to building trust and fostering meaningful relationships. Let's break this down with a real-life example. Think about a time when you were going through something difficult, maybe a challenging situation at work or a personal struggle. Now, remember a moment when someone truly listened to you without interrupting, without offering unsolicited advice, but just listening. How did that feel? It likely felt comforting, validating, and connecting. That person made you feel seen and heard, and in doing so, they created an emotional bond with you. That bond is what allows relationships to deepen and grow stronger over time. Compassionate communication has the power to transform relationships. When you listen with empathy, you create a space for the other person to feel safe, understood, and respected. People are drawn to those who can make them feel comfortable enough to share their true thoughts and feelings. The simple act of listening with an open heart makes you a reliable and appealing person. You become someone people can trust, not only to hear their words but to honor their emotions. Now, let's talk about how this applies to your personal growth. One of the most attractive qualities you can develop is the ability to communicate with compassion. It's not about being perfect or having all the right answers. It's about showing up for others with genuine care and presence. When you listen with empathy, you convey a message without words. I value you. I respect you. I'm here for you. This message goes deeper than any advice or words you could offer because it speaks directly to the heart. Think about this. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone was more interested in talking about themselves than listening to you? How did that make you feel? Likely, you felt dismissed, perhaps even unimportant. On the flip side, when someone is fully present with you, you feel valued and validated. This is the power of compassionate communication. It allows you to connect with people on a deeper level, creating a bond based on mutual understanding and trust. Empathy also helps you navigate difficult situations with grace. When emotions run high, whether in an argument or a moment of conflict, compassionate communication helps de-escalate tension. It allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. You can acknowledge the other person's feelings, express your own in a calm manner, and work toward a resolution together. This is a cornerstone of healthy, lasting relationships, whether personal or professional. As you continue to develop this skill, you'll find that your relationships become more genuine and fulfilling. You'll attract people who appreciate your ability to listen, understand, and respond with kindness. You will become a person others can rely on for support, someone they trust to offer a compassionate ear. And in return, those relationships will offer you the same deep, trusting connections that add richness and meaning to your life. So, I challenge you today, the next time you engage in a conversation, ask yourself, am I truly listening, or am I just waiting to speak? Practice listening with compassion. Show empathy, make the other person feel heard, and see how it transforms your relationships. When you communicate with compassion, you don't just connect with others, you build the foundation for trust, respect, and a deeper bond that lasts a lifetime. Maintain personal integrity. Let's take a moment to reflect on a powerful principle that lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy: personal integrity. Integrity is about doing what's right, even when no one is watching. It's about aligning your actions with your values and living in a way that is true to yourself. But here's the kicker: it's not always the easy choice. It requires strength, self-discipline, and the courage to stand by what you believe, regardless of the situation. The Stoics believed that integrity isn't something you put on when others are around, but something you live by every single day. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, emphasized this idea of living with integrity, saying that the true test of our character comes not when we are in the spotlight, but when we are in the quiet moments, where no one else is watching. In those moments, when there's no external pressure to act in a certain way, integrity is about staying true to our values and principles. Imagine a scenario where no one is around to see your actions. Perhaps you're in a difficult situation at work, and the easy way out would be to lie or take credit for something that wasn't entirely your achievement. It may seem tempting in the moment, but maintaining your integrity means making the choice to do what's right, even when no one else will know. And here's the beauty of that choice: it builds trust, it strengthens your character, and it creates a foundation for lasting relationships. People are drawn to individuals who consistently act with integrity. When you are honest, when your actions match your words, and when you demonstrate consistency in your behavior, you create a sense of reliability and trustworthiness. These qualities are magnetic. They form the backbone of meaningful relationships, both personal and professional. Think about someone in your life who always does the right thing, someone who can be counted on, no matter what. That person is likely someone you deeply respect, someone whose integrity has earned your trust. But integrity isn't just about being trustworthy, it's also about showing respect for others. By maintaining your integrity, you show others that you value honesty and consistency, and in turn, they're more likely to respond in kind. It creates a positive cycle of respect and trust, making it easier to build strong, lasting connections. People gravitate towards those who can be trusted, and your integrity will naturally attract people who share the same values. Now, let's talk about consistency. Integrity is not just about doing the right thing in one moment, it's about making a habit of it. It's about building a reputation of reliability through your actions over time. Consistency creates a sense of security and trust in relationships. If someone knows that you'll always act with honesty, even when it's difficult, that person feels safe with you. They know where you stand, and that trust is invaluable. Personal integrity also involves being authentic with yourself. It's about being honest about who you are, what you stand for, and the principles you hold dear. This self-awareness gives you the strength to make decisions based on your values, not on external expectations or pressures. And when you make decisions from this place of authenticity, you empower yourself and those around you. You show them that it's possible to live with integrity, no matter what life throws your way. Here's a powerful example of integrity in action. Think of a time when you faced a choice that could have compromised your values. Maybe it was something small, like returning extra change you received by mistake, or maybe it was a bigger decision that could have affected others. In that moment, choosing to do what was right even when no one was watching built your character and strengthened your relationships. People respect those who stay true to their principles, even when the path of least resistance is available. So, I ask you today, how will you act when no one is looking? Will you choose to do what is right, even when it's difficult? Will you live in alignment with your values and principles, regardless of external circumstances? Integrity is the foundation of lasting relationships, and by living with honesty and consistency, you not only build trust with others, but you also build a life of deep respect and authenticity. Remember, integrity isn't just about doing the right thing when others are watching, it's about staying true to your values at all times. It's the key to sustainable relationships, personal growth, and respect from others. And when you make integrity a non-negotiable part of your life, you'll find that it naturally attracts the right people and creates bonds that stand the test of time. Practice humility. Let's take a step back and think about one of the most powerful yet often overlooked qualities we can cultivate in our relationships: humility. It's the quality that makes us approachable, likable, and trustworthy. And here's the beautiful thing about humility: it's not about putting yourself down or diminishing your worth, it's about recognizing that you are just one part of a much bigger picture. It's about understanding that no matter how successful, knowledgeable, or accomplished we become, we are all still learning, growing, and evolving. In Stoic philosophy, humility is a virtue that keeps us grounded. It prevents arrogance and pride from taking root, reminding us that there's always more to learn, more to experience, and more to give. And this is critical for building meaningful relationships because no one wants to be around someone who is always bragging about their achievements, putting others down, or acting as if they know it all. Take, for instance, the Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius. He ruled over the vast Roman Empire, one of the most powerful positions in history. Yet, despite his immense power and accomplishments, he never lost sight of his humanity. He understood that humility was the key to staying connected with others. In his personal writings, he often reflected on the importance of acknowledging that he wasn't above others and that his power came with great responsibility. His humility made him relatable, trustworthy, and deeply respected by those around him. Now, think about your own life. Have you ever met someone who exudes confidence without arrogance? Someone who is successful, yet never makes you feel lesser? That person likely practices humility. They don't need to brag because their actions speak louder than any words ever could. Humility allows people to feel comfortable around them because they don't feel threatened or judged. It creates an environment where connection and trust can flourish. Humility also helps us build empathy, one of the most important foundations of healthy relationships. When you practice humility, you acknowledge that others have valuable experiences, perspectives, and wisdom to offer. You're not looking to compete with them, but to learn from them. This makes you more approachable because you are open-minded and willing to listen. People gravitate toward those who don't act superior or dismiss others but who genuinely value the opinions and feelings of those around them. In relationships, whether personal or professional, humility helps to create an environment of mutual respect. When you admit that you don't have all the answers, you invite others to share their thoughts without fear of judgment. This openness fosters a deeper connection because it shows that you value their input and are willing to learn from them. It also creates a sense of security. People are more likely to trust you when they know you won't belittle or disregard their contributions. Let's talk about how humility influences trust. Trust is the cornerstone of any strong relationship. When you are humble, you are more likely to keep your promises, be consistent in your actions, and admit when you've made a mistake. Instead of trying to protect your ego or cover up errors, you acknowledge your flaws and work to improve them. This honesty and self-awareness earn the respect of others, and over time, this leads to deeper, more authentic connections. Here's an example from everyday life. Have you ever seen someone in a leadership role, like a manager or a teacher, who doesn't act like they know everything? Instead, they ask questions, admit when they don't have the answer, and show a willingness to learn. These leaders are not only more respected, but they also create an environment where others feel safe and valued. They know that their strength doesn't lie in pretending to have all the answers, it lies in their ability to stay humble and to foster an atmosphere of collaboration. Humility also allows us to appreciate others' successes without feeling threatened. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, we can celebrate their achievements and learn from them. This shift in mindset not only helps us grow but also strengthens our relationships, because we're not viewing others as competition, we're viewing them as fellow travelers on this journey of life. So, how can you practice humility in your own life? Start by embracing the idea that there is always something to learn, no matter how much you already know. Be open to feedback, admit when you're wrong, and always approach others with the understanding that they have their own unique strengths and experiences. Recognize the value in others and let go of the need to constantly prove your worth. When you do this, you'll find that your relationships become richer, your connections deeper, and your life more fulfilling. To sum it up, humility makes you approachable, likable, and trustworthy. It allows you to build long-lasting, genuine relationships because it creates a space where others feel respected, heard, and valued. And when you practice humility, you not only become a better person but also attract those who share the same values, people who will walk with you, support you, and help you grow. Remember, the more humble you are, the more meaningful your relationships will be. So, let's choose humility today and let it guide us to better, deeper connections with the people around us. Understand the dichotomy of control. Let me ask you a question: how many times have you found yourself stressing over things you simply can't control? Maybe it's a situation at work that's out of your hands, a loved one's choices that you can't change, or an event in the future that you're anxious about. The truth is, most of us spend a lot of our energy trying to control the uncontrollable, and that's where the Stoic principle of the dichotomy of control comes in, a simple yet powerful idea that can transform the way you live your life. The dichotomy of control is a core concept in Stoicism, and it teaches us that there are two things in life: things we can control and things we cannot. The Stoics encourage us to focus our energy on the former, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions, while letting go of the things that are beyond our control. This distinction is not only liberating, but it also leads to greater emotional stability and peace of mind. Think about this: how often have you been caught in the storm of worrying about someone else's behavior or a situation that is beyond your influence? The more you try to control these external factors, the more stressed, anxious, and frustrated you become. But when you practice the dichotomy of control, you recognize that these things are simply outside of your reach, and you shift your focus back to what you can actually do something about: your own mindset, your own actions, and your own reactions. For example, let's say you're in a difficult situation with a coworker who is being uncooperative or rude. You may feel the urge to try and change their behavior, or maybe you get upset thinking about how unfair it is. But the Stoic mindset encourages you to remember, you cannot control the actions or attitudes of others. What you can control is how you respond to them. You can choose to remain calm, to act with kindness, or to simply remove yourself from the situation with grace. This shift in perspective reduces stress and keeps you grounded in your own power. Here's another example: imagine you're facing an important presentation or interview. It's natural to feel nervous or anxious about the outcome, especially if there's a lot on the line. But the dichotomy of control teaches us to focus only on what we can control in the situation: the preparation, the effort, the mindset. The outcome, however, is beyond our direct control. By focusing on doing your best and letting go of the worry about what others will think or how the outcome will unfold, you reduce the mental clutter and create emotional stability. This, in turn, helps you present yourself with confidence and calm, making you more attractive to others. When you embrace the dichotomy of control, you stop wasting energy on things that you cannot change. You begin to see the world more clearly and approach life with a sense of peace. The result? You become more emotionally stable, more resilient, and ultimately more attractive to those around you. People are drawn to those who are calm in the face of adversity, who can manage stress, and who respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. But the benefits don't stop there. This principle also helps us avoid burnout. When we're constantly trying to control things that are outside our reach, we deplete our energy and get caught in a cycle of frustration. But when we focus on what we can control, we conserve our energy and approach challenges with a clear, composed mind. This emotional balance not only makes us more attractive but also helps us build stronger, healthier relationships. So, how can you apply the dichotomy of control in your daily life? Start by asking yourself, what can I control in this situation? If the answer is your actions, your attitude, or your response, then focus on those. Let go of the rest. When you stop fighting against the uncontrollable, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and emotional turmoil. Let me tell you, practicing this principle is incredibly liberating. It frees you from the weight of trying to control everything, and instead, it empowers you to take responsibility for how you show up in the world. When you embrace what you can control, you radiate a sense of calm and confidence that is magnetic to others. To sum it up, the dichotomy of control isn't just a Stoic idea, it's a life-changing principle. By focusing on what you can control and letting go of the rest, you reduce stress, increase emotional stability, and become someone who is calm, centered, and approachable. And when you embody this sense of balance, others will naturally be drawn to you. So, the next time you find yourself stressed or overwhelmed, remember this: focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. In doing so, you'll create a life of peace and strength, and that's truly attractive. Appreciate differences. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on something fundamental to building strong, lasting relationships: appreciating differences. In a world that often emphasizes conformity, we may feel pressure to fit into a certain mold or adopt the same views and behaviors as those around us. But the Stoics teach us that true growth and deep connection come not from uniformity, but from the ability to respect and understand the differences that make each person unique. Imagine this: you're in a conversation with someone who has a perspective completely different from your own. Maybe it's about politics, culture, or life experiences. In that moment, the instinct may be to defend your point of view or to try to convince the other person to think the way you do. But the Stoic way encourages us to take a step back and appreciate the differences. We don't have to agree with someone to respect their perspective. In fact, it's through understanding and embracing these differences that we can truly enrich our relationships and foster deeper connections. The Stoics believed that every person is on their own journey, with their own experiences, struggles, and beliefs. By recognizing that no two people are alike, we open ourselves up to a richer, more varied world. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, taught that by understanding and accepting the uniqueness of others, we free ourselves from the frustrations of trying to make everyone think and act like we do. When we learn to appreciate differences, we start to see the world through a broader lens. For example, let's say you're working with a team, and everyone has different approaches to solving a problem. Instead of getting frustrated or trying to impose your way of doing things, appreciating those differences opens the door to collaboration. You begin to realize that someone else's perspective may offer insights you never considered, and together, you create a solution that's stronger than any one individual could have achieved alone. Respecting differences isn't just about accepting them, it's about celebrating them. Every person brings something valuable to the table. Whether it's a different background, a unique set of skills, or an alternative way of thinking, these differences are what make our relationships dynamic and interesting. It's through these diverse perspectives that we grow and evolve as individuals and as a society. In personal relationships, appreciating differences can help us avoid unnecessary conflicts. For instance, imagine you're in a relationship with someone who has a different communication style. They might prefer to talk things through calmly, while you might be more passionate or expressive. Instead of seeing this as a source of tension, you can appreciate that their way of handling emotions is just as valid as yours. By embracing this difference, you create a space for both of you to grow and understand each other more deeply. This principle also teaches us the power of empathy. When we appreciate the differences of others, we move beyond judgment and begin to listen with a compassionate heart. We seek to understand, not to correct or change. This ability to empathize strengthens our relationships because it creates a foundation of trust, respect, and mutual appreciation. In professional environments, appreciating differences fosters innovation. When diverse perspectives are respected and valued, creativity flourishes. Companies and teams that embrace the differences in their members often find themselves more adaptable, resilient, and successful. Instead of seeing someone's different approach as a challenge, view it as an opportunity for growth and learning. You will be amazed at how much more effective and harmonious the work environment becomes when everyone feels heard and valued. So, how can you put this into practice? Start by making a conscious effort to listen and understand those who may think, act, or believe differently than you. Ask questions, learn from their experiences, and show genuine curiosity about what makes them unique. Rather than trying to change them or convince them to see things your way, embrace their differences as something to be appreciated. When you practice this, you create relationships built on a solid foundation of respect. You become someone who can relate to others at a deeper level, someone who celebrates the richness of human diversity. And in doing so, you'll find that these relationships become more meaningful, fulfilling, and long-lasting. To sum it up, appreciating differences enriches relationships. It opens the door to growth, learning, and connection. When we take the time to respect and understand the uniqueness of others, we create a space where both parties can thrive. So, let's celebrate the differences that make each person special, because in doing so, we create a more compassionate, understanding, and unified world. Practice patience. Let's take a deep breath and think about one of the most valuable virtues that can transform not only the way we live but also the quality of our relationships: patience. In today's world, everything seems to move at lightning speed. We're conditioned to want immediate results, quick fixes, and fast rewards. But here's the Stoic truth: patience isn't just a virtue, it's a foundational principle for building sustainable, meaningful relationships. Stoicism teaches us that life isn't about rushing toward goals or trying to force outcomes. Instead, it's about accepting delays, embracing the journey, and trusting that everything unfolds in its own time. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The true value of patience lies in how we manage our time and our expectations, recognizing that the best things in life often take time to develop. Let's consider how patience works in relationships. When we're impatient, we might try to rush the process, whether it's pushing a friendship to become something more, rushing through meaningful conversations, or expecting instant harmony in a relationship. But the beauty of any strong relationship, whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a colleague, is that it requires time and nurturing to grow. Patience allows these connections to evolve naturally, without the pressure of unrealistic expectations. Think about a time when you felt frustrated because something wasn't progressing as quickly as you wanted. Maybe it was a project at work, a personal goal, or even a relationship that didn't seem to be moving forward fast enough. In that moment, impatience could have caused you to make rash decisions, or worse, give up altogether. However, by practicing patience, you give yourself and others the time and space needed to learn, adjust, and grow. Relationships, just like any other aspect of life, need time to flourish. Here's an example. Let's say you're trying to build a new friendship or strengthen an existing one. At first, you might feel the urge to push for more closeness, to spend more time together, or to get to a place of deep trust right away. However, rushing this process can often lead to disappointment or even strain the relationship. True connection comes with time, and practicing patience allows the relationship to unfold at a healthy pace. You learn more about each other gradually, share experiences, and build trust step by step. Rushing this process can prevent the relationship from developing in the natural and meaningful way it deserves. In romantic relationships, patience plays an even more significant role. Building a deep, lasting connection doesn't happen overnight. It requires effort, understanding, and most importantly, patience. When you're patient, you allow your relationship to grow in its own time, without the pressure of trying to speed through stages or force things to happen. This patience allows you to truly understand one another, to learn from disagreements, and to create a bond that can weather any storm. Patience nurtures trust and allows emotional intimacy to develop at a healthy pace. Patience also teaches us how to accept delays and setbacks without frustration. We've all experienced moments where things don't go according to plan, whether it's a work deadline that's pushed back, a personal goal that seems out of reach, or something unexpected that throws us off course. In these moments, patience gives us the ability to stay calm and focused on what we can control. Instead of getting frustrated or anxious, we can take a step back, adjust our approach, and keep moving forward. The ability to remain steady, even when things don't go according to plan, is a powerful tool for managing stress and building resilience in all aspects of life. In professional relationships, practicing patience can help you create an environment of collaboration and trust. Instead of expecting immediate results from your colleagues or employees, you take the time to listen, guide, and provide support. This creates a sense of stability and respect in your workplace relationships, where everyone feels valued and understood. Ultimately, patience helps us develop a deeper level of emotional intelligence. When we're patient, We're not only giving others the time they need to grow and evolve, we're also giving ourselves the time to reflect, learn, and improve. This creates a cycle of growth, both for ourselves and for those around us. So, how can you start practicing patience today? Begin by recognizing the moments where impatience arises, whether in conversations, at work, or in your personal life. Take a deep breath, and allow things to unfold at their own pace. Shift your focus from the end goal to the journey itself, and appreciate the growth that happens along the way. By practicing patience, you'll create stronger, more resilient relationships that stand the test of time. To sum it up, patience is crucial for building sustainable relationships. It allows trust to grow, understanding to deepen, and connections to become lasting. By accepting delays, embracing the journey, and avoiding the urge to rush toward goals, you create space for the relationships in your life to flourish naturally. With patience, you'll not only find success in your relationships, but you'll also become someone others can rely on for calm, steady support. So, let's practice patience and allow the beauty of life's connections to unfold at their own pace. Self-discipline and self-control. Imagine this: you're faced with a difficult decision. Maybe it's a choice between taking the easy way out or sticking to your principles. Maybe it's resisting a temptation or holding back an impulse. In moments like these, the difference between success and failure, stability and chaos, comes down to one powerful quality: self-discipline and self-control. Stoicism teaches us that the key to living a virtuous life and building meaningful relationships is rooted in the ability to control ourselves, our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. The Stoics believed that we can't always control what happens around us, but we can always control how we respond. Self-discipline isn't about being perfect or rigid, it's about having the strength to align your actions with your values, even when circumstances try to pull you in a different direction. Let's talk about how this works in practice. Self-discipline is the ability to stay focused on long-term goals and not get distracted by short-term desires or temptations. It's about making choices that align with your best interests, even when they require effort, patience, or sacrifice. Whether it's resisting the urge to procrastinate, avoiding negative habits, or sticking to a plan that's in line with your values, self-discipline empowers you to stay on track and create the life you desire. For example, let's say you're working on a personal project or striving to improve an aspect of your life. Along the way, you'll face obstacles and distractions, temptations that might make it easier to quit or take the path of least resistance. But self-discipline gives you the strength to keep going, even when it feels tough. You don't let your emotions or external distractions derail your progress. Instead, you stay focused, take action, and trust that every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. When it comes to self-control, it's not just about resisting physical temptations, it's about managing your emotions and impulses. How often do we find ourselves reacting impulsively, maybe snapping at someone in anger, making a hasty decision, or letting frustration control our behavior? The Stoic mindset teaches us that we can choose to respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. When you practice self-control, you create space between stimulus and response, allowing yourself to act with clarity and purpose rather than being ruled by emotions. Here's an example: let's say you're in a disagreement with a loved one. It's easy to let your emotions take over and lash out in the heat of the moment. But with self-discipline and self-control, you can pause, take a deep breath, and choose to respond calmly and respectfully. You don't let the immediate emotional reaction control you. Instead, you take responsibility for your emotions, and this choice can lead to a more constructive and respectful conversation. So, how does self-discipline and self-control make you more attractive in relationships? Here's the secret: people are drawn to those who can manage themselves. When you can maintain composure and stay true to your principles, no matter the circumstances, you create a sense of security and stability. You become someone who can be relied upon, someone who is consistent in their actions and decisions. This reliability is magnetic because it builds trust, a fundamental pillar of any genuine relationship. In relationships, self-discipline and self-control also allow us to avoid unnecessary conflict. When we're able to regulate our emotions and reactions, we're less likely to lash out or make impulsive decisions that hurt others. Instead, we choose our responses with care, ensuring that we communicate effectively, act with integrity, and maintain respect for the other person. This not only strengthens the relationship, but it also creates a sense of harmony and understanding. But self-discipline isn't just about maintaining control over your reactions, it's also about setting boundaries and making choices that honor your well-being. For example, you may need the self-discipline to say no to certain things in order to prioritize what matters most, whether it's personal time, mental health, or quality time with loved ones. By consistently practicing self-control in these areas, you create a balanced life that fosters peace and fulfillment. Here's a practical example. Imagine you're in a relationship and you're constantly juggling multiple commitments. It may be tempting to overcommit yourself, saying yes to everything, but practicing self-discipline means setting boundaries and not overextending yourself. This not only benefits your own well-being but also helps you show up as the best version of yourself in your relationships. Ultimately, self-discipline and self-control are about owning your power. They allow you to shape your life rather than letting external factors shape you. When you can manage yourself, you build confidence, self-respect, and resilience, qualities that are incredibly attractive to others. And as you continue to develop self-discipline, you'll find that your relationships become stronger, more fulfilling, and more aligned with your true values. To sum it up, self-discipline and self-control are the foundation for creating a life of stability, strength, and meaningful relationships. When you can manage your actions, thoughts, and emotions, you create a life that reflects your highest values, and others will be naturally drawn to that. So, let's commit today to practicing self-discipline and self-control, knowing that it will not only help us grow as individuals but will also empower us to build relationships that are strong, genuine, and lasting. And there you have it, 10 Stoic principles that will shape the way you build and maintain relationships. Remember, growth starts within. By embodying these principles, you are not just becoming a better partner or friend, you're transforming into a person who attracts peace, stability, and respect. So, what will you do next? Take these lessons to heart, and let them guide your journey towards genuine connections. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share which principle resonated with you the most. If you found this video valuable, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more reflections on Stoicism and personal growth. Stay strong, stay peaceful, and I'll see you in the next video.